Hey guys, Matt McKeever here. So it's literally been a year since I shot that video with my buddy Graham Stephan.
What's with this spray paint on the side? What is that?
There's spray paint?
Yeah, dude. See?
Son of a bitch. I didn't even know that existed. Now, you've been demanding an update, and we thought a lot does change in a year. A lot has changed other than just my beard. And so let's discuss what's going on with my portfolio and what's changed over the last year.
Despite owning over a dozen properties, he still wears glasses that are broken on the side, as you can see from here. That is how you do frugality.
And so because I know both Graham and everyone on Graham's channel love the glasses, I do actually still have these glasses. It's a long story, but one night my buddy sat on them, broke the arm off. I used to have it duct taped together. Eventually the duct tape fell off, but I mean, the lenses still work. They're still good, guys. I can still see fine. All right, so the first property you guys remember checking out with myself and Graham Stephan, well, that was my second property I've ever owned, a student rental by Fanshawe College. Pretty much the exact same operations as what you saw last year, other than this year we got a better set of students into the property, so they didn't trash it. We didn't have to do all the drywall replacements, thankfully, but we are currently in the process of redoing the roof. But it's been time. It's probably been 25 years since it would have had a replacement on the roof. Now, this is a capital cost in regards to actually upgrading your property, but again, property is still humming along, doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. I've owned this property now 10 years. It's crazy to think I've been owning this property for a decade, but for a decade, it's just been consistently producing that cash flow. Again, real estate investing, in my opinion, isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a get-rich-for-sure scheme. All right, a lot of you guys had questions about student rentals, especially after you saw the damage that sometimes students leave at my rental properties. The way I started out in real estate investing was with student rentals. And now student rentals are a great cash flowing strategy if you want to be a cash flow investor, which really was the focus when I first started investing. One of the problems with student rentals is sometimes the quirky, destructive nature that students have.
Oh my, this is disgusting, man. I can't tell if that's coffee or blood.
One year, the kids literally punched a hole through this wall so you could see people on the toilet. I'm pretty sure I could write an entire novel, or maybe even a series of novels, on the different things students have broken. But what really stands out in regards to what students break that a lot of other tenants won't necessarily break is things like dishwashers. You wouldn't necessarily think of it, but it turns out a lot of students never do the dishes until the first time they're out living on their own, and they don't realize that you actually need a special type of soap. And so what they'll end up using is just like the soap you would use in the sink, and blows out the gasket on the dishwasher and just creates a giant, terrible mess. We're coming up on my second student rental property. Now, you guys maybe remember this last time with Graham Stephan, where we found all that black soot all over the rental property. Spray paint?
Yeah, dude. See?
Son of a bitch. I didn't even know that existed. How the are we gonna get that off? I mean, it looks better, guys, but it doesn't look great. It could have been avoided had the student just not been a dick. At the same time, it's really not gonna impact the ability for me to rent out this property. We did hire someone to go by and try and clean it up, but it's actually quite hard to get that exhaust diesel off of the brick and as well off the garage door. We build in a buffer in regards to our numbers in regards to repairs and maintenance. So it's not unusual for us during, say, a tenant turnover to maybe have to spend between $2,000 and $5,000 just fixing up and updating the property. And so that's part of the reason why we charge a premium rent on our student rental properties. And again, it's part of the student rental niche, and it's nothing that really gets me too upset. But let's move past student rentals, because that's just how I got started. After I really cut my teeth with student rentals and bought my first, I guess my first 4 properties were oriented towards student rentals. Then I started moving into multifamily properties and just focusing on, scaling the number of doors I have and trying to increase the cash flow while diversifying my renter pool base. And now we're going to be pulling up to a neighborhood in the Old East Village. This is an area where I really moved in a big, heavy way. And back in 2016, I started growing my portfolio here aggressively. So in 2016, I believe I acquired 32 apartments just in the Old East Village. And the following year, picked up another 5 or 6 properties in the Old East Village. And at this point in time, I've kind of saturated what I want to do there because it was gentrifying back in the early 20-teens. But now that we're at 2020, the Old East Village has kind of arrived, and now it's getting a lot more expensive and a lot more competitive to buy properties. So I'm constantly moving from neighborhood to neighborhood. Right now we're standing in front of another property we checked out with Graham Stephan. And this is a perfect example of how neighborhoods are gentrifying and how I really like to focus on neighborhoods that are gentrifying when it comes to my real estate investing. And in fact, the property behind me I bought for $70, now worth $200,000, all because of this giant indoor amusement park. This is actually Canada's second largest indoor trampoline park and Canada's largest indoor zip lining park. And a year ago when we checked this out with Graham Stephan, this wasn't even here. In fact, I didn't even know they'd installed this until right now, right this second, because it's been a year since I checked out this property. But this is an electric car charging station. Again, would have been unthinkable in this neighborhood 10 years ago, but because I was focused on the demographics that I saw shifting here, I knew that things were on the come up. And talking about on the come up, right behind me is actually going to be luxury office space here for new tech startups and other entrepreneur endeavors here in London, Ontario. And in fact, at some point, this is going to turn into a high-end hotel as well. So there's a lot going on here right on the edge of the Old East Village. And this is one of the main reasons that I love investing in these transitioning neighborhoods. So this is definitely one of my favorite properties. This one back in 2015, myself and my business partner, Graham Stephan, we spent so many late nights working on this one. In fact, I was working on this while still working a full-time job. So I'd work 10, 12 hours at the full-time day job as a CPA, a chartered accountant, and then I'd come here and spend every night and weekend working on renovating these properties. I don't even want to think about the number of beers or boxes of pizza that we ate and drank while at this property. But again, it was a real labor of love, and it showed to us the power of being able to renovate and implement the BRRRR investment strategy, because we bought this property back for what was it, $385,000, and it's now worth probably $600,000 plus. So the top floor, that was my very first apartment where I started shooting my YouTube videos in. You guys maybe remember I had that like human-sized whiteboard that I actually had made myself just out of a sheet of metal, and I would write down and break down all the numbers on my rental properties. Well, all the magic happened right up there. And again, it was a real special feeling knowing that we had put so much sweat and labor into making that unit as special and as great as it was. All right, now let's check out my first real multiplex. So this was the first property I ever owned that was above 10 units. And again, it's in the Old East Village here in a neighborhood that's really gentrifying. And the first thing I want to bring up to our attention that's changed over the last year is this property behind me. This used to be all overgrown weeds. There was kind of a shanty village back here, but it's now actually been acquired and they're going to build a high rise. And another thing that's really exciting about this neighborhood that's changed over the last year is this building right here. So do you guys see that gray one, the kind of new modern looking one? That's actually been built in the last year as well. And again, it's just another sign of how this neighborhood's changing. When I originally acquired this property, it was a big challenge, and this neighborhood was really still in the process of gentrifying at that time. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do to stabilize this building. But it wasn't just my efforts, it's in fact an entire community's efforts to really just bring this neighborhood into its full potential. And we can see here now the city's really starting to invest as well. They're tearing up the street, they're going to be doing all kinds of new upgrades, because as well, if you actually see just past Aeolian Hall there, we in fact have another development that potentially is going to be going on at the corner of Rectory and Dundas. So there's another proposal there to build another 600 units, 2 towers. So again, this is what gets me fired up and so excited about owning properties here in the Old East Village. All right, so you've seen what my first big multiplex property that I broke into looks like. These days now, a year since I shot the video with Graham, I'm actually buying a lot of purpose-built multifamilies. In fact, I've set up a new corporation and it only buys 12 plexes and larger. And we're going to go check out one next, but I love these purpose-built buildings just because they operate like clockwork. Again, they've been designed to be multifamily properties, where originally when I broke into real estate, I was buying a lot of converted dwellings. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying converted dwellings. In fact, it's a great way to really start finding strong cash flowing rental properties. And I'm really glad I used that strategy. But I'm excited now because it kind of feels like the game of Monopoly, where I'm upgrading. I'm going from those tiny little greenhouses now to the big red hotels. So here's one of the purpose-built buildings I've bought in the last year. This one holds a little bit of sentimental value to me as well, because I remember back almost 10 years ago wanting to buy this building, talking to a good friend who told me it was too big of a deal and too scary for me to get into, and at the time he said it was way too much. Well, fast forward another 10 years, I actually paid more than double for this property versus what I could have bought it for 10 years ago, but now I definitely have the confidence and experience to be able to move forward on these larger purpose-built buildings. And what's great about purpose-built, as you guys have seen on my channel with Casey Wong, is you've got one flat roof. You've got one real just solid looking box building, right? It's really not going to go anywhere. It was purposely designed to be 14 units. And again, it's a really easy plug and play system where we're able to buy these larger multifamily properties and build out our portfolio a lot faster than, say, buying those small little duplexes and single families that I originally started investing with. And now we're in downtown London and actually checking out what's going to be my newest addition to my portfolio. I'm really excited by this. There's a lot of smokers.
I feel like everyone is a smoker.
Everyone is. It really feels like we're starting to level up now. So this is going to be a 31 unit building, plus it's got a commercial unit as well. So really excited to be breaking into just like the bigger buildings, right? This is going to be the largest building I've acquired to date. In fact, it's been a decade now that I've been investing in real estate, but it's a get rich for sure as long as you focus on fundamentals. And that's what we really focused on this building when looking at acquiring it. And I'd like to think that you know you've made it as a real estate investor once you own properties that have art murals on the walls, as well as just kind of graffiti. Feels like you're taking it to the next level. Again, just a great example of some of the cool art that is in downtown London. And obviously not all street art is created equal. So you can see this is a massive building. And again, like I mentioned, 31 apartments plus a commercial unit. So the type of financing used on buildings like this, completely different than the financing I would have used to get that first student rental property when I first started out as an investor here in London, Ontario. All right, that's it for the portfolio update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it, but I'd kind of be remiss if we didn't talk about the mansion, the place I currently live in. If you guys didn't know, it recently sold. So we're gonna be looking for a new place to live now. We're gonna go mansion shopping, so like and comment for part 2. Follow along with us. We're gonna be spending 5 figures a month. Who's the slumlord now? Did you guys enjoy that video? Smash the like button if you did. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And again, a big thanks to Graham Stephan for spending the time to shoot those original videos with me. I know that a lot of my audience came from Graham Stephan's YouTube channel. So again, thank you so much, Graham. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. If somehow you missed the video with Graham, check it out right here. We're also going to throw a link to Graham's channel. So if somehow you're not subscribed to him, make sure you jump over and subscribe to him now. And we'll throw up another video that I did on Graham's channel as well. So make sure you jump into those older videos and let us know if you'd like more updates on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, guys.